At 2:17 a.m., my late husband spoke in a dream. Evie now out, I woke with his voice still in the room. I did not argue. I put on my robe, slid into my slippers, grabbed my phone, and walked straight outside. On the porch, I caught a thin, rotten egg smell. The porch light blinked once. The maple by the steps creaked. I went to the curb where the air felt cleaner. At 2:21 a.m., I called 911. I gave my name and address and said, "I smell gas." The operator told me to stay out, keep lights off, and wait. The first fire truck arrived at 2:33. Red light washed over my white boards and the ceramic swan planter Sam bought as a joke one spring. The captain said his name was Nelson. His crew moved with quiet, practiced steps and carried meters and a long, sniffing wand. At 2:41 a.m., a gas company tech pulled up. His badge read Reyes. He checked the outside meter first. Then we went in with a firefighter. The kitchen air felt heavy and sweet. He spoke in a steady tone. "We have readings," he said. "Low, but real." He later tied a yellow tag to the meter. The time on the tag read 3:12 a.m. In the kitchen, we saw it at once. 2 burner knobs sat a hair off. The window over the sink stood open 2 inches. The tiny chain on the back door hung loose. On the counter lay the carbon monoxide detector's battery door and the battery itself. I stared at that chain. I clip it every night. Reyes knelt and shined his light. Fine scratches ringed the metal around both knobs. "Looks like something turned them," he said. "Could be a sleeve. Could be a glove." The firefighter said, "Could be an accident. Kind, but unsure." Reyes checked the water heater closet, glanced at the wall where the detector should be, and wrote down numbers. Then he looked at me. "You did right by getting out," he said. "I take pictures to keep the truth straight." I took photos with timestamps. 3:26 a.m., 3:27, 3:28, the knobs, the window latch, the loose chain, the battery on the counter, the yellow tag zip-tied at the meter. I saved my call log from 2:21 a.m. I asked to take a photo of Reyes's clipboard. He said yes. Reyes shut off gas at the meter and added a red warning tag. He had me sign a form. My last name printed wrong. Walters became Waters, so I fixed it in big block letters. Sam always said, "If the paper's wrong, the story gets told wrong." Captain Nelson gave clear rules. Don't turn anything on. Don't light anything. Call a licensed appliance worker in the morning to check the range. If you smell gas again, step out and call us. Reyes asked, "Who has keys?" I told him, "My son Jason has a set. My daughter-in-law Lila used to have one for emergencies." He asked about cameras. "I have a doorbell cam Jason installed last winter." Tonight its ring was dark. The app said offline. The hall router blinked like it had gone to sleep. We checked the back door frame. Faint scuffs sat at hip height where the chain rests. Outside the kitchen window, damp dirt held 2 partial shoe prints. Here is the simple truth. Sam died 14 months ago. He wore his union watch to the end. I keep it in the top drawer. The house is paid for. It holds our years like a thick book. The porch swing creaks from the day Jason leaped off it with a sheet for a cape when he was 8. The kitchen smells like lemon oil and coffee. Since spring, Jason and Lila say they are concerned. That is their word. Concerned about the roof. Concerned about wiring. Concerned that I might fall or forget. "We should look at options," Lila says in a soft voice while her thumbs fly over her phone. Options mean a senior condo with a sunny name. Options mean I sell the home that knows my steps and size. At 3:39 a.m., I texted my friend Ivy from choir. I sent a picture of the yellow tag and wrote, "Sam warned me in a dream. Gas. I'm okay." She called back and left a voicemail I saved. "You did right getting out." At 3:42 a.m., a text came from Jason. "Mom? Everything okay? Your porch light's been on." I stared at that line. You write it when you care. You also write it when you already know something. I answered, "Gas issue." Fire crew came. "I'm fine." His dots blinked, stopped, blinked again. "Do you want us to come?" He wrote. "No," I typed. "I'll call tomorrow after I sleep." I saved the thread. By 3:58 a.m., the trucks were gone. The street went quiet, like the world had slept through all of it. I stood on the porch and let the cool air touch my face. I thought of Sam's voice. In life, he almost never raised it. He did not need to tonight. "Evie now! Out!" I set the yellow tag on the table. I spread the photos like cards, knobs, latch, chain, battery, footprints, offline camera, blinking router, a text from my son at 3:42. I pressed my palm to the wood and felt the grain. Something had happened here. If I told it plain and kept my proof, I could show it. I locked the window. I hooked the chain. I checked the stove knobs twice. I turned on one small lamp that does not click or spark. I poured water and took a long sip. My hands were steady. I lay down on the couch where I could see the front door. I watched the night thin toward morning. When a sparrow began its call, I made a list for daylight. Call a licensed appliance worker. Print my photos. Back up the doorbell cam once the internet returns. Ask the service why the router went down. Change the locks. And speak to Jason in person. I will ask simple, short questions and let silence have room. I will not accuse. I will set facts on the table and watch who looks away. I do not yet know who turned the knobs or who pulled the battery. I only know this. My husband warned me. I ran out. And when I came back, the house laid out small signs. Morning light crept up and made the photos look sharp. I am listening. Morning came slow. I brewed coffee on a hot plate because the gas was off. The yellow and red tags sat on my table beside the photos. I moved in my robe like I did not want to wake the house. In the quiet, I heard Sam in my head clearing his throat. He loved simple work done right, so I made a list for my life. I met Sam when I was 19. He fixed machines at the plant and could smell a bad bearing. We married in a church with squeaky pews and a roof that leaked. We did not have much, but we had a plan. Work, save, and never lie. We bought this house in our 7th year. The closing photo sits in a tin frame. Sam in plaid, me with home-cut bangs. We fixed one room at a time and mailed the last mortgage check the month Jason lost his first baby tooth. The house is not fancy. It is simply ours. The kitchen window holds pencil lines from the kids. The porch swing sings when the wind finds it. In the backyard, one bare patch refuses grass. Sam said that spot wanted sunlight and attention, same as people. Sam was a union man and a saver. He showed me every bill. We kept a file box for house and another for car and fun. When the kids wanted something we could not yet afford, we told them the truth and saved for it in an envelope. When Sam got sick, he put the house in order the way he did his tool bench. He labeled the breaker box and wrote a list of people I could call for the roof and the furnace. He told me, "You do not owe anyone a story you do not feel like telling." He also said, "If you smell gas, get out and call." After the funeral, Jason and Lila came often with soup and kindness. They carried boxes and told me to rest. "We want you safe," they said. I believed them. Jason has a quick mind and restless feet. He and Lila like to start things. They flipped one condo for a profit, then tried another and it sat. The talk about options began in March. Lila sent links to sunny apartments with halls. "Think of the elevator," she said. Jason said, "You could lock and leave." I do not lock and leave. I plant marigolds and come back to see which ones lived. When I said I wanted to stay, their smiles came too fast. Money is not my secret. I live on Sam's pension and my check. The house is paid. I keep savings for emergencies and a short want list. Lila asked for my bill passwords more than once so she could help. I wrote them on a card and put the card in the locked file box. Later kept not coming. Small things started. In May, the back gate latch sat open. In June, the porch bulb was loose. In July, a locksmith flyer appeared under my doormat, then vanished. A week later, Lila said, "Schlaga is better than Kwikset for old doors." I asked how she knew. "Pinterest," she said. "I keep simple records. My spiral notebook has dates and short notes. July 12th. Router down 1:10 a.m., back by 7:05. July 19th. Doorbell cam offline after thunder, online in afternoon. August 2. Smell gas? No. Pilot clicked twice. August 14th. Jason borrowed spare key to make a copy for lockbox. He returned it on a new ring with a tiny rubber shoe. My old lighthouse charm was gone. There were kind things, too. Jason fixed the sag in the pantry shelf and oiled the door hinges. I tried to be fair. I set each piece on my inner scale and watched what it did. One Sunday in September, after church, a postcard sat on my table. "We buy houses as is. Close in 10 days. On the back, my address was written by hand. I took a photo. That same day, Lila asked if I had thought more about liquidating. The week before the dream, Jason brought groceries and a box of new smoke and CO detectors. "These old ones are junk," he said. He swapped the hall unit and showed me the test beep. He took the old battery for recycling. I thanked him. Now, with the tags on my table and the photos lined up, I thought about that visit. My notebook says, "Detector swap, 7:22 p.m. Fry." In the trash, I found a receipt from 6:11 p.m. that same Friday, from the big hardware store on Maple. The receipt was not mine. Jason stuffs receipts in his pockets. Sometimes they drift out. The knife and gloves could be for a project. They could also mean nothing. Still, I set that paper with photos. I am not a detective. I am a widow in soft slippers who writes things down. But even a simple woman knows when lines begin to connect. A loose chain, a cracked window, an offline camera, a new ring on old keys, a flyer that comes and goes, a receipt with quiet words. I do not accuse. I do what Sam taught me. I gather and wait for daylight to show one more small thing. The kettle clicked. I poured hot water and let the coffee smell fill the room. This house has held my best and worst days. It held my kids and their friends. Selling it would not feel like options. It would feel like ending a book mid-sentence. I looked at the front door. The chain was up. The lock was set. I thought of Jason's text at 3:42 a.m. I'm asking about my porch light. He knows my porch light is a motion sensor. It turns on when someone steps close. I opened the doorbell app again, still offline. I flipped to a clean page and wrote, Plan. 1. Ask neighbor Mrs. Alvarez if her side camera saw anyone. 2. Call the internet company and ask for outage logs. 3. Change locks. Keep the lighthouse key ring. Retire the rubber shoe. 4. Invite Jason and Lila to lunch. Set photos on the table. Listen more than I talk. I do not know who turned the knobs or who removed the battery. I know what matters to me. I know the feel of this table under my hand and the sound of the porch swing when the wind finds it. I know Sam warned me, and I listened. With morning in the window, I will be careful, and I will be clear. Morning kept moving even if I felt stuck. I washed my face, dressed, tied my shoes, and slipped my notebook and the photo folder into my purse. Then I went next door to Mrs. Alvarez. Her side camera faces my driveway and the gate by my kitchen window. I knocked. She answered with coffee in hand. "Do you have video from last night?" I asked. "Come in," she said. Her camera saves clips when it senses motion. We scrolled by time. A clip at 1:56 a.m. showed a figure along the fence. Hood up, small bag in one hand. The person paused. At my side gate, glanced toward the street, then slipped through. At 2:03, a faint light blinked near my back door. At 2:06, the figure stepped out and stood still. The camera caught a slice of cheek under the hood. The person moved like they knew the path. At 2:12, a vehicle entered the alley and idled by my fence. The plate was blurry, but the last 3 characters showed when we paused. 7Q3. Jason's truck ends with 7Q3. I photographed the paused frame with the timestamp. Mrs. Alvarez copied the clips to a thumb drive, labeled it with date and times, and wrote a short note that I had asked for them. Back home, I called the internet company at 8:05 a.m. I asked for outage logs. The rep said there had been no area outage. She read my modem record. It lost power at 1:54 a.m. and came back at 3:07 a.m. That looks like a manual unplug, she said. She opened ticket 409182. I wrote it down. I took daylight photos of the door frame. The scuffs at hip height showed clearer. I put a ruler in the frame for scale. I also saw a tiny blue thread on the chain hook. I lifted it with tape, sealed it in an envelope, and wrote the date. I am not a lab. I am just careful. I set the hardware store receipt flat on the table. Friday, 6:11 p.m., Maple location. 3 items: utility knife, nitrile gloves, and a 2-pack of 9V batteries. Cashier 224. The print showed loyalty phone ending in 42. Jason's old number ends in 42. I photographed the receipt and stapled it to a sheet with the modem ticket and the clip still. I called the number on the locksmith flyer at 9:02 a.m. "We don't share customer details," the man said. "I'm the homeowner," I said. "Someone was inside." He paused. Then, "A woman called last week about changing locks on your street. We said we needed the owner present." He would not give a name. He did say the call was Thursday at 4:18 p.m. and noted a quote number, DL731. I wrote both. Ivy came by with blueberry muffins. She sat at my table and listened while I set each piece down and said what it meant and what it did not mean. When I finished, she touched the yellow tag. "You have more than a feeling," she said. "You have pieces that agree." We made a short list. 1. Call a licensed appliance worker. 2. Buy a battery backup and a plug lock. 3. Change the locks today. 4. Meet Jason and Lila in a neutral place. 5. Bring copies, not originals. 6. Keep a witness at the meeting. Mr. Chen, the appliance worker, arrived at 11:20 a.m. He tested the range and checked the knob stems. "These turn smooth from use," he said, "but these tiny arcs look fresh." He pointed to faint crescents where metal meets metal. He checked the CO detector bar. "Battery door opened with care," he said. He wrote a short report, stapled his card, and put the time, 11:52 a.m., at the top. The range stayed capped until the gas company cleared it. On the way to buy a plug lock, I stopped at the Maple hardware store. I asked if they could reprint a receipt from Friday at 6:11 p.m. The clerk said yes. He printed a copy with the same 3 items and the same loyalty phone ending in 42. He wrote his name, Henry, and today's date on the bottom. He could not name the buyer, and I did not ask. Back at my table, I laid everything in a clean order. The alley clip still with plate ending in 7Q3. Ticket 409182 showing a power cut at 1:54 a.m. Locksmith note DL731, Thursday 4:18 p.m. 2 receipts with time and items. Photos with a ruler. Mr. Chen's report. I took one wide photo of the spread and printed it. Then I called Jason. I kept my voice even. "Lunch today at 2 at Rosie's Diner. I want to see you and Lila. I have house updates." He said sure. "Do you want me to swing by first?" he asked. "No," I said. "I will meet you there." He added, "Do you need me to look at your router?" I said the company already helped me. Ivy agreed to sit in a nearby booth as my witness. "I'll be there if you need eyes," she said. I wound Sam's watch. The steady tick steadied me. At 1:40 p.m., my phone buzzed. A text from Lila. "So excited to hear your plan. We found a buyer who makes cash offers on older homes. We can get you into a fresh place by Thanksgiving." I did not answer. I took a screenshot with the time. Before I left, I ran 2 errands. At the electronics shop, I bought a battery pack for the doorbell and a plug lock. The clerk showed me how to clip the pack. I wrote the steps on a sticky note. At the hardware counter, I picked up 2 deadbolts keyed alike and booked a recce for 5 o'clock if I chose to proceed. Back home, I made 3 copy sets and slid them into sleeves labeled by time. I kept the originals in a brown folder. I stood by the table before I left. Alone, each piece could be nothing. Together, they started to speak. The first solid thing I had was simple and hard to ignore. A figure at my gate at 1:56, a plate ending in 7Q3 at 2:12, and a modem that went dark at 1:54. Those times made a line, not dots. I put the folder in my tote and locked the door. The day was clear. The porch swing moved in the breeze. The old house seemed to watch me from the windows as I walked to meet my own child with my proof. Rosie's diner smelled like coffee. Ivy took a corner booth, head down like she was reading. I sat at the next table. Jason and Lila walked in at 2. Jason kissed my cheek. Lila squeezed my hands. I kept my tote on my lap. "Thanks for meeting me," I said. "House updates." The waitress poured water. I set a folder down, unopened. Jason smiled. "There's an easy path. Cash buyer, fast close. You could be cozy by the holidays." Lila nodded. "We even got ballpark numbers." "I have a different topic first," I said. "Last night," I tapped the folder. "There was a gas leak." They nodded. "Are you okay?" Lila asked. Jason frowned. "Did you forget the chain again? Your porch light sensor acts up. I'll fix the router today." The gas company tagged my meter at 312 a. Your fire came. The kitchen window was open. The back chain was off. 2 burner knobs were turned just shy of off. Jason leaned back. "Knobs walk if you bump the stove. Maybe the detector chirped and you pulled the battery. You hate that sound." "I hate it," I said. "I did not pull it. The battery sat on the counter." He tried a small laugh. "Your doorbell drops Wi-Fi at night. The modem resets at like 2. The internet company says my modem lost power at 1:54 a. and came back at 3:07 a.m. It looked like an unplug. Ticket 409182. I slid a copy across. He did not touch it. "Could be a glitch." "There was no storm," I said. "Mrs. Alvarez's camera shows a person at my gate at 1:56, hood up, small bag. At 2:12, a vehicle idled by my fence. The plate ends in 7Q3. Jason's jaw moved. "Lots of plates end like that. I drove by after a late job to check your light. I never came in." "Our chain was off," I said. "The window was open." Lila patted my wrist. "Listen, Mom, you're grieving. Dreams feel real. We stop by because we worry. You forget things." "I take pictures," I said. I opened the folder. I set down photos with timestamps, the yellow tag copy, the modem ticket, a still from the alley. "This is 212. Lila glanced and slid it back. "Grainy. Could be anyone." Friday, 6:11 p.m. Maple Hardware sold a utility knife, nitrile gloves, and a 2-pack of 9V batteries to a loyalty phone ending in 42, I said. "Jason, that's your old number. Here's the clerk's reprint with today's date." Jason's face tightened. "I buy normal work stuff. The batteries were for your new detector." "The old battery lay on the counter at 3:28 a.m., I said. "It was not in a detector." He tried again. "Maybe I stopped by earlier before any leak to swap something." "You were asleep. I didn't want to wake you." "We don't enter my house at night without a call," I said. "Mom," he whispered. "We're trying to help. The stove is old. The house is old. If something happens to you, I'll never forgive myself." "Don't put that on me," I said. "If you want to help, return my spare key. Stop resetting my modem. Stop touching my locks." Lila lifted her chin. "This isn't fair. We carried you after Sam died. Groceries, bills, rides. Now you turn on us over a bad sensor and a dream?" "A dream got me out," I said. "Evidence met me after." The waitress set coffee. Jason said, "Let me take the doorbell and pull the clips at my shop." "No," I said. I bought a battery pack and a plug lock. A licensed worker checked the range and wrote a report at 11:52 a.m. The gas tech left notes. The neighbor gave me clips. "I have enough." Lila's phone buzzed on the table. A banner lit. "Lock Pro. Follow-up DL731 today, 4:30 p.m. It matched the locksmith quote from Thursday, 4:18 p.m. Lila stuffed the phone in her bag. "Just a reminder from when I compared prices for you," she said. "We wanted new locks for safety. You said they needed the owner present," I said. "They logged a call. DL731, Jason shot Lila a quick look. I know what that look says I did not push. I set one more page on the table. A short letter I wrote. I, Evelyn J. Walters, will not sell, pledge, or list my home. I have not asked anyone to change my locks. I revoke all spare keys not in my possession. A second copy for witness. I stopped at the bank before lunch, I said. A notary is on call at 3. Ivy will walk me over. I'll sign and file this. I'll also file a police information report with the timestamps and ticket number. If anyone uses my keys or touches my modem again, that becomes a complaint. Jason's voice dropped. You're making this ugly. No, I said. I'm making it clear. He tried one last path. What do you want, Mom? Live alone until something bad happens? This isn't about money. This is about control, I said, and safety. My safety last night? My control over my home. The check came, though we hadn't eaten. Jason put down cash. We'll talk later when you're calm, he said. Lila stood jaw tight. We love you, she said in a voice that didn't match her eyes. They left. Through the window, I watched Jason unlock his truck. The plate showed 7Q3. He looked back once and drove off. Ivy slid into my booth. She set her hand over mine. You were steady, she said. I have enough for next steps, I said. This isn't just family talk now. It needs light, we stood. I paid for coffee. We walked to the bank. The notary stamped my page. Then we went to the police desk and filed an information report with copies. The officer gave me a case number. On the sidewalk, I called Sam's lawyer, Mr. Patel. He answered on the second ring. I need a plan to protect my house and myself, I said. 9 tomorrow, he said. Bring your folder. Mr. Patel said we will set clear papers, change powers, and keep records ready if anyone challenges me. At home, I set new deadbolts on the counter and waited for the locksmith I chose. The locksmith I hired, Kareem, arrived at 5 on the dot. He set his tool roll on my table and checked each door. Front first, he said. He pulled the old deadbolt and held it to the light. Tiny brass shavings dusted the faceplate. This was worked recently, he said. Not kicked, not drilled, picked or keyed. He bagged the shavings and wrote a short note with the time, 5:18 p.m. We locked the modem plug and moved the modem into the hall closet. People unplug these to beat cameras, he said. I wrote that next to the internet ticket number. He showed me how to swap the doorbell to the battery pack, and we tested it. The porch feed came into clear focus. At 9 the next morning, I sat in Mr. Patel's office with my folder. He listened, asked questions, and sorted papers by type: utility, video, receipts, technician notes, and witness letters. Then he laid out a plan on one yellow page. First, protect the title, he said. We add a county fraud alert. We file an affidavit that says you live here and are not selling or granting transfer power. Second, lockdown access. We set a passphrase on gas, internet, and bank. Third, set clear house rules with anyone who has a key. He called each company on speaker and added the passphrase. The gas company noted, no service changes without passphrase and photo ID. The bank added, no address changes by phone. The internet provider flagged, modem location locked. Mr. Patel hung up. You brought proof, he said. Now we add structure. At 10:55, his clerk, Nora, scanned my photos and labeled each with the time and source. She attached Kareem's shavings note and Mr. Chen's appliance report. She stapled Mrs. Alvarez's thumb drive receipt to printouts of stills. She walked me through the county fraud alert. When the confirmation pinged, she smiled. Now you'll get an email if anyone files a deed, she said. At 11:15, Mr. Patel's phone buzzed. Jason had replied to the invite. We'll come at 4. Mr. Patel sent terms in plain words. Meeting is recorded. Notary present. Purpose is to return keys and agree to no entry, no tampering, no service changes. If you need counsel, bring counsel. No pushback. I met Ivy and went over the order. We would start with safety, not blame. We would show the yellow tag, the technician notes, the modem ticket, the alley still, the locksmith note, and the neighbor's letter. Then 2 calm questions. Did either of you enter after midnight? And will you sign the waiver and return all keys today? At 3:45, we sat in Mr. Patel's conference room. A recorder with a red light sat at the center. Nora took the notary seat. Mr. Patel read the date and time. Ivy sat at the far end, quiet. Jason and Lila arrived at 4 sharp. Layla's mouth was tight. Jason's eyes slid to my folder. Today we set safety and access rules for Evelyn's home, Mr. Patel said. We'll keep this simple. He started with the yellow tag. Gas safety record, 3:12 a.m. Then the internet ticket. Power loss to modem, 1:54 to 3:07 a.m. Then the alley still. Plate ending in 7Q3 at 2:12 a.m. Then Kareem's note. Fresh tool marks, 5:18 p.m., lock replaced. Then Mr. Chen's report. Knob arcs fresh, detector battery removed. Questions? Jason said, it looks bad in a stack. But each thing has a simple answer. I reset the modem sometimes. I drove by to check the porch. We planned new locks for safety. Mr. Patel nodded. 2 questions. Did either of you enter after midnight without permission? Jason stared at the table. Lila watched the notary stamp. No, he said. Will you sign this access waiver and return every key today? Mr. Patel turned the form. Simple terms, a penalty clause, and a notary block. If you refuse, I will file a protective order and notify police and the gas company. Lila's phone lit. A banner slid across. Lock Pro. We can still do 4:30 if owner confirms. Mr. Patel raised a brow. What does that mean? Lila swallowed. I asked for quotes. That's all. Mr. Patel tapped a page. The quote number on your phone matches this note from the company, DL731. Jason put both hands on the table. We were scared, he said. The stove, the stairs, the house. I unplugged the modem to reset it. I sat in the truck. I never meant harm. Unplugging the modem turns off the cameras, Mr. Patel said. The stove knobs were moved. The detector battery was out. Whatever the intent, the risk was serious. He tapped the waiver. Will you sign? Silence stretched. Lila looked at Jason. Jason looked at me. My hands did not shake. Jason said, I'll sign. Lila whispered, I don't like being cornered. No one wants a fight, Mr. Patel said. We want clear rules. He slid 2 pens forward. Jason signed. Nora notarized. Lila stared at the window. Then she pulled a keyring from her bag and set it down. Fine, she said. But if you fall, I will call for help, I said. You can visit when I invite you. Mr. Patel sealed the keys in an envelope and wrote the date and time. He handed Jason a copy of the waiver and the no trespass letter. These are now active, he said. Any breach triggers the penalty and a police follow-up. Before they left, Nora made one more check. On speaker, a clerk at the Maple hardware store confirmed the last 4 of the phone used Friday at 6:11 p.m., 0042. Jason closed his eyes. That was me, he said. I wanted the detectors fixed. The detectors are fixed, Mr. Patel said. The rules are fixed too. The recorder light blinked steady. The meeting ended. In the hall, Ivy hugged me. Mr. Patel said, You did the hard part. Now let the paper carry the weight. My steps felt steady and mine again at last. We stepped into late light. The sky had a thin gold edge Sam loved. The morning after the meeting, the house felt new. Not because paint changed, but because rules lived in the walls. The new deadbolts clicked like clear answers. The doorbell camera sent a steady picture to my phone. I made tea, stood by the window, and felt my breath slow. At 9, Mr. Patel called. We will finish the protections today, he said. Bring your ID. I walked to his office with my folder and my calm. Nora had prepared papers. One revoked any old powers of attorney I had signed during hospital days. I signed. Now no one can move your money or change services without you, she said. Mr. Patel slid a thick set of pages across the desk. This is a living trust, he said. You are the trustee while you live. The house goes into it today. When you pass, it goes where you choose. I read the summary in plain words. I picked what felt right. I named the trust after the maple over my porch, I set the terms simple and firm. I live in the house for life. After me, the house will be sold by the trust. Half of the net funds my grandson's college. Half goes to the fire department that answered my call at 2:33 a.m. Mr. Patel circled one line. Irrevocable after funding, he said. No one can talk you out of it later. Not even you, I signed. Nora notarized. We walked to the county clerk and recorded the deed into the trust. The clerk slid a stamped copy under the glass. The ink looked heavy and final. I put the copy into my folder and felt my shoulders ease. We added a visitor agreement. It said family visits by appointment only, daytime hours, no entry without me, and no tampering with locks, cameras, or power. It carried the same penalty clause as the waiver and a line about police notice. Mr. Patel mailed a copy to Jason and Lila by certified mail and sent a PDF with a timestamp. We do not argue, he said. We document. At noon, the gas company returned to unlock the meter after the appliance passed inspection. Reyes did the check. He glanced at the new locks and nodded. Good measures, he said. He left a green tag with the date and his initials. I taped a clear sleeve inside the hall closet where all tags now live. In the afternoon, Ivy drove me to the firehouse. Captain Nelson invited me to the monthly safety talk for seniors. I told the short, simple version of my night. I held up copies of the tags and the photo of the stove knobs. The captain spoke after me. If you smell gas, get out and call, he said. If someone pushes you to leave a safe home, talk to a lawyer and a trusted friend. A young reporter asked to quote him and use my first name only. I agreed. Naming the risk in public felt like sun on stone. At home, the porch swing moved in the breeze. Jason texted at 5. Glad your meter is clear, he wrote. We want peace, I answered. Then keep the rules. Visits by appointment. No more late stops. He typed dots and then sent a single word. Okay. For a week, the house was quiet. I kept my small routines. Coffee, choir, a phone call with my sister. I put fresh batteries in every detector and wrote the dates with a marker. I set the doorbell to send clips to the cloud. I slept on the couch 2 more nights, then returned to my bed. The house rules held steady. On Sunday, I baked a pie and took half to Mrs. Alvarez with a thank you note for the footage. She waved me in and told me her brother once had a property deed stolen by a cousin. Paper saved him, she said. We smiled. Monday brought a test. At 9:34 a.m., the app showed the porch light on. A delivery man set a box by my door, stepped away, and then Jason's truck rolled past without stopping. He did not park. He did not touch the gate. He just drove by. The next day he called and asked to bring chili on Wednesday at noon. I said yes. We ate at the table. He looked at the photos in the sleeve on the wall. I wish I had done right the first time, he said. So do I said. We did not unpack the rest. He left the bowl and went home quiet. Lila stayed distant. She sent 2 short texts that were all weather and no heat. I answered in the same tone. I do not plan to punish anyone with silence, but I will not reward bad acts with quick forgetfulness. The trust does that work for me, and the paper speaks when memory tries to go soft. 2 weeks later, Mr. Patel called to check in. Any problems? He asked. No, I said. He told me the county fraud alert had sent 1 ping when a title firm did a routine check. The trust name bounced it. Good, I said. He chuckled. Very good. I also met with the choir treasurer and set a small scholarship in Sam's name from a savings account. It felt right to pour a little kindness out, since fear had filled the cup for a while. The award will buy sheet music and bus fare for any elder who needs it. In the evenings, I walk my small loop. I like the seam where sky meets roofs. I like the sound of my shoes on my own sidewalk. One night, I saw Mrs. Alvarez on her steps. We talked about birds and the price of eggs and nothing more. It was perfect. My revenge, if that is the word, is not loud. It is paper, keys, and light. It is knowing I cannot be pushed again by hands that call their pressure love. It is a title line that tells the truth when mouths try not to. It is a file shelf with tabs in simple words. It is a house that is mine while I breathe, and after me, a gift that helps others breathe too. I do not wait for a dream now. I listen in the day. I open the window and smell only coffee and lemon oil. I hear the small click of the lock and the larger sound of my own choice. The door closes soft, and the rest is mine.